I'm back, my haunted hotties. What's good in the YouTube hood? It's your girl, Luna Nova, and I am back with another video for you guys today. You guys are enjoying being spooked the fuck out by the many haunted places. So we're going to continue to go down that rabbit hole. And today we are going to go over my childhood home of Atlanta. Specifically, Georgia. You guys were loving all the spooky shit so much, so we're going to continue to go down that rabbit hole. And today we are going to go over haunted places in Georgia. Why? Because that's where I'm at right now. So that's what we're going to start with. If you guys have not joined the channel as a member, I don't know what you're doing because y'all are the ones choosing the topics. So join as a member, go cast your vote because there is a poll up right now. If I can, I'm going to go ahead and insert it in right here so y'all know which one I'm talking about. So y'all know which video is coming next because I'm going to go in sequential order. Whatever has the most votes, I will start with. And so far, it's looking like New Orleans is going to be next, but we'll see. Today, we are going to be going over all the people, places, and things of Atlanta that are haunted, all right? From cemeteries to houses to old battlegrounds. Yeah, because y'all know the Civil War was fought here. Yeah, very historical periods and times that took place. And y'all can't tell me that all of this bloodshed, all of these atrocities that happened just as a human race, y'all mean to tell me that these places aren't haunted afterwards? I think the fuck not. They definitely are. The first place that we're going to go over is the Oakland Cemetery. When I first asked you guys about the different places that you maybe wanted me to visit or go over, especially here in Atlanta, this was the #1 thing that was requested. Again, the Oakland Cemetery. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. The Oakland Cemetery was originally built in the 1850s, starting off with only 6 acres of land that now stretches over 30 acres of land. Thousands and thousands of graves that belong to everyday people, but mostly a lot of these old veterans that fought in the Civil War. And apparently these are the people that are haunting the cemetery. People have been known to see full body apparitions, hearing roll call as if a drill sergeant is calling off the different soldiers and them hearing a response back. Yeah, it apparently gets pretty wild in the Oakland Cemetery. So if you guys actually want me to go and visit the Oakland Cemetery, I am not opposed to it because I'm with all the spooky shit. Again, I am a haunted hottie myself. I'm not afraid of it. So I definitely would go and venture down there, but y'all have to let me know if that's something that you guys want to see. Maybe catch a little footage, catch an apparition or two. We'll see. We got to see what the overall energy is given. I want to go. I am going to insert in a clip that is going to show you different views of the cemetery because duh, that's what you came to see, the cemetery, because that's what you came to see, right? But the audio will be muted just because I don't want to get demonetized, and I'm not sure if that song is going to cause me to get demonetized. So I apologize for the random silence in the video. But like I said, you guys came to see the cemetery, so let's look at it.
You're never truly alone in this Atlanta haunted cemetery. In the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, you will find the Oakland Cemetery. This has been around since 1850. It spans 48 acres and has over 70,000 graves. With this many graves, it's no surprise that paranormal activity runs rampant here on a daily basis. Considering its proximity to a lot of Civil War battles, there are thousands of graves here of Confederate soldiers. There's over 3,000 unnamed Confederate graves and a handful of Union soldiers, but just because they're buried doesn't mean they don't still come out. People have claimed to see soldiers, Civil War soldiers, in this cemetery for years and years. People have experienced everything from disembodied voices to they can hear actual what sounds like a roll call, like a sergeant calling out roll for his platoon and people responding. Over the years, there have been dozens and dozens of prominent people in the community buried here, from government officials to writers, you name it. And there's one man by the name of Jasper Newton Smith who has a huge statue where he's buried on his gravesite. And people claim that Jasper still comes out of this huge monument every night. Atlanta offers a variety of things to do. It's a beautiful city. But if you have time, stop by Oakland Cemetery. There just might be more going on here than in downtown Atlanta. You guys have a great evening. God bless.
So if you live in Atlanta, you may know the very well known, even though there's a plethora of them, Peachtree Streets, that is. Let's talk about the castle on Peachtree, aka Rhodes Hall's old mansion. Now, this mansion was the bee's knees for its time. I mean, for the early 1900s, it was advanced as far as the architecture, the beautiful stained glass, as well as its electrical advancements, because this house had electricity like no other for the time period. I mean, again, it was top notch, if you will, for the time period. That doesn't take away for what it is also known for nowadays, which is the fact that it is haunted as shit. Yes, you heard me correctly. Haunted as shit. People have seen full body apparitions, heard full blown conversations happening throughout this house when nobody's around. I mean, some creepy ass things happen in this house that are just irrefutable. Not everybody's lying when they're saying that they're feeling tugs on their arms or experiencing extreme cold spots when people are going on tours. I mean, I don't think everybody's lying. Now, the original owner, Amos Rhodes, was apparently a very good businessman for the time, but was a very well-known racist. Very well-known racist. So I would not be surprised with people coming into his home of a certain demographic and or skin color. That would make him run rampant in there, trying to get people up out of there because he still believes that is his home.
Rhodes Hall, the castle on Peachtree, has more than meets the eye. This structure is known for its architecture and the paranormal activity that exists inside. Rhodes Hall was built by Amos Rhodes, the owner of Rhodes Furniture. He was a known businessman in the Atlanta area. This home was built in 1904 during the rise of electricity and the fascination with it throughout the country. Over 300 light bulbs were installed throughout the home. It had an electric call button in almost every room and a security system. The building itself was built from stone mountain granite, and Amos and his wife Amanda referred to this home as the Dream. However, this dream home is overshadowed by one specific feature. That would be the 3-panel stained glass mural that glorifies the rise of the Confederacy, which included the portraits of over a dozen Confederates, as well as former Grand Wizard Nathaniel Bedford Forrest, something the original owners were very pleased with, essentially making this a shrine to the worst parts of the South. His wife Amanda passed away in 1927, and Amos passed away in 1928. Their children would then deed the home to the state of Georgia. It now serves as a house museum, an event venue, and the headquarters for the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation. Even though it hasn't served as a residence for quite some time, many still believe that Amos and Amanda are still there. People have reported the apparition of an elderly woman. They've also reported a rather dark male presence that usually lingers in the basement. Artwork has been reported to fly off walls. Disembodied sounds such as heavy footsteps and children laughing has been heard. There have been claims of shadow figures and figures in the mirror being seen. People have also reported lights turning on and off by themselves and doors slamming shut and locking themselves. Whether or not you believe in the paranormal, everything has a story. Haunting stories should never overshadow the significance of things like that stained glass mural.
I think it's so interesting because I've lived in Atlanta for so long, but did not know that a lot of these places that I've actually been to have been haunted. Like, it makes a lot of sense on the back end. Looking back on the experiences that I had at some of these places that I, again, have physically been at before, such as the Fox Theater. I went for my 21st birthday with my ex, and it's probably the only good thing that he did for me, but I digress. Because I got to meet Toni Braxton. Like, I don't know if y'all remember that. That's when they did the whole Toni Braxton Day. Yes, it was amazing. I don't know about you guys, but it's something about the Fox Theater here in Atlanta that just seems so eerie. Like, just walking throughout, because again, I've been to the Fox Theater before a few times, and each time that I've gone, it just seemed more creepy with every experience that I had. It's just something about it just feels so dark. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels very dark. And looking back on it, I didn't feel like I was at ease until I actually really relaxed and paid attention to the show. Like, I just kept feeling energetically like I should not be here. I should not be here. It doesn't feel safe to me. And again, this is just my personal experience. Y'all can let me know in the comments if you've ever been to the Fox Theater in Atlanta and had similar feelings of worry, dread, I don't know, fearfulness for your life. I don't know. Spiritually, I did not feel safe there. I enjoyed the show. Of course, it was Toni Braxton, the queen. Of course, I enjoyed her, but it was just something about that presence, that building. I was like, I got to get the hell up out of here. Like, I've heard so many different things about people doing crazy things like unaliving themselves inside theaters because they go mad from a part, or all types of crazy things. So I would not be surprised if I dig up some articles and find that some people have unalived themselves there. So Y'all let me know in the comments though. The Fox Theater. Cha-cha.
The Fox Theater, Atlanta, Georgia.
Now, the very well-known next place that we are going to discuss is going to be the Ellis Hotel. And just from doing my research about this place, because to my knowledge, I don't believe I've ever been to the Ellis Hotel. I don't think so. Now, I've been all up and down Peachtree. I've been all up and through Atlanta. I've been to different places as far as festivals, parties. I've stayed at different hotels, hosted different events at different places in Atlanta. But the Ellis Hotel definitely sent chills up my spine just by looking at some of the pictures. And it makes a lot of sense when you look into the history of the place. It has a very dark history from a very tragic fire that broke out in the early hours of the morning that claimed over 100 lives. Because at the time, there weren't a lot of safety precautions when it comes to fires in buildings at the time. So unfortunately, a lot of people that were trying to escape did not make it out. And therefore, there are a lot of unsettled and unhappy souls that are trapped within those walls. And they still roam wild in that place. There have been several reports of the elevator going up and down on its own. There have been several reports of people being able to see and hear people throughout the building, children running up and down the hallways, as if the hotel is still alive and thriving, which it is, but not with what you think.
In downtown Atlanta, a beautiful building covered in lights sits on the corner of Ellis and Peachtree Street. Here is the famous Ellis Hotel, but it's also one of the most haunted locations in the downtown area. Around 3 a.m. on December 7, 1946, a fire had broken out in one of the rooms, and it quickly spread, catching fire to the carpet, beds, and curtains. Unfortunately, the only way out of the hotel for all the guests was one single staircase. So in desperation, people began trying to jump to the building next door, but the jump was more than 10 feet. They tried to grab the ledges of the building, but many of them fell to their deaths. Some have heard the heart-wrenching screams of women and children throughout the hallways, and the fire alarms go off for no reason, especially on the anniversary of the fire on December 7th at 3:15 a.m.
Now, obviously, if you're here on the channel, you are definitely into some of the spooky things that are out there, right? So again, I'm pretty sure that you guys have watched this series. I watched it 3 times personally because I just enjoyed it that much. But it makes sense why I enjoyed it so much, because it's got some Atlanta history. Many of you guys may know it as the Hill House from the Netflix series, The Haunting of Hill House. But a lot of people know it under another name, and that is because it is an actual house here in Atlanta, Georgia, that apparently is actually haunted. So Netflix just decided to go with the creepiest place in Atlanta, said, boom, bam, we're gonna film there. It's already active, let's do it. I don't know if that was a great idea, because I wonder, we see a lot of actors and actresses say that they experience some crazy things after filming these paranormal movies in real life. We saw The Conjuring, right? I can't remember the actress's name, and I believe I mentioned it in another one of my videos. She herself experienced an actual condition where she started developing bruises all over her body randomly for no reason after filming The Conjuring. Y'all can't tell me that these things are just made up. Like, these people are not making these things up. A whole disorder she was diagnosed with, and the doctors couldn't tell her where it came from. Baby, when you start experiencing things and the doctors cannot tell you where it's coming from, you're getting an illness out of nowhere, or the opposite. You were sick as hell and all of a sudden you're being healed, you're healthy, you're gaining your health back. Baby, that's spirit. That is nothing but spirit. Call it what you want. That's the universe working in your favor, or maybe against you. But I digress. The land that the Hill House, I'm going to refer to it as the Hill House because that's what I know it as. The Hill House land that the house is sitting on goes all the way back to the early 1800s, I believe 1830. And we all know that was a very crazy time period. Again, a lot was happening during the early 1800s, from the Second Great Awakening, the Indian Removal Act. I mean, that alone. Do I really need to say more? Apparently, the tea from the previous buyers of the home in 2013 claimed that the house is haunted by 4 or 5 different spirits. And they know this because apparently things get moved around in the house. There's voices that they hear, all types of freaky deaky shit that's going on in there. All I know is if I purchased a haunted home to the point where it made me not want to be in it anymore, I'm going to have to sell it. It's going to have to go. Somebody else is going to have to be a better haunted hottie than I. There's haunted levels to this shit. I just know certain things. If it's going to frighten me, I'm not going to be there. I mean, can you actually imagine losing your phone in your home, knowing for a fact that you set it down in one particular place and it goes missing for weeks? Not 1 day, not 2 days, not 3 days. I mean a week, several weeks. Your phone goes missing just for it to reappear in the same place that you know for a fact that you left it. It's a ghost.
Residents in LaGrange, Georgia know this home as Bishop Manor. Everybody else knows this as the Hill House, from The Haunting of Hill House. The exterior, that is. And allegedly, this home is haunted in real life too. The manor sits on land that's documented going back all the way to the 1830s. This is when it housed a sawmill and a blacksmith shop. From the 1880s until around 1940, this property served almost primarily for recreational use. It was used by churches, school groups, and the Boy and Girl Scouts. In 1974, it was taken over by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The Newman Construction Company built the English Tudor-style mansion between 1997 and 2002, even keeping a piece of a former building that used to stand there that dates all the way back to 1920, and making it a room. According to the former owners, Neil and Trish Lichty, who bought the manor in 2013, the manor is haunted. And they reportedly say that it's haunted by at least 4 or 5 entities. Though the exterior was the only part used for the Haunting of Hill House, it's the inside that has paranormal activity. Neil Lichty said that he didn't believe in the spirit world until he moved into this home. The former owner said that music would blast from their basement. They also said that they would smell phantom tobacco smoke even though nobody in the home smoked. Things also allegedly went missing, with one infamous incident being where Neil lost his phone for weeks, only for his phone to reappear in the last spot that he saw it. The owners also said that this was just a few of their experiences, with many of them being centered around the room that kept the older piece of the building. The manor very well could be haunted. Its haunting could also just be an urban legend. Either way, a unique landmark in LaGrange, Georgia gets to have a unique piece of Netflix history.
Now let's talk about good old Kennesaw Mountain. Yes, a lot of people like to go and visit Kennesaw Mountain because it's a great place to stretch your legs and enjoy the outdoors. But are you enjoying the outdoors alone? I'm going to go ahead and answer that question for you. You're not. Apparently, there are a lot of spirits that occupy that mountain for the simple fact that it was a heavy place for bloodshed during the Civil War. Now, I wasn't able to find any reference clips that would actually download. A lot of people have spotted different old soldiers that still roam spiritually through that mountain, and they see their full body apparitions in their military attire on the north and the south side of the war. People have been going on hikes and claim to hear an actual battle taking place, like gunfire, bombs, things going off that sound like an actual war going on around them while hiking up this mountain. Generals shouting orders, but not seeing an actual person. All types of what would seem to be chaos. You hear it happening around you, but you don't see anything. I don't know about y'all, but that probably would make me feel like I'm having spiritual psychosis, because why am I hearing all of this and I don't see all of this? What's going on?
And it goes like this. We get in your car and you need to kiss me. We'll talk for hours and lie on the backseat.
Now, the next place that we're going to go over, I definitely had to do my research on because I didn't know the name of it, but I definitely do remember passing by this place a few times in my life living here in Atlanta. And it just gave me the heebie-jeebies. I did not like it. It's something about the Hernan homes that just screams haunted. It screams haunted. And I know for a fact that personally going by, I remember because I was always passenger princess with my daddy, riding in the car with my dad one day and going by that particular old apartment complex. And I could have sworn I saw people standing in the window. And of course, my dad tried to brush it off and was just like, oh, Luna, nobody's lived there for years. What? So why did I just see a lady standing in the window? What? Explain, because I'm not understanding. I know what my 4 eyes just saw. And apparently that's something that other people see as well. People standing in the windows, lights flickering on and off. The paranormal activity is running rampant there. I mean, just from looking at that, you mean to tell me that just doesn't make your skin crawl? It doesn't seem eerie to you? I know for a fact, if I step foot there, look, and I know y'all are going to tell me y'all want me to go there in the comments. And if y'all do, I'll go. I will. I'm going to have somebody go with me. That place is just screams creepy to me. But now I'm kind of interested. And last but definitely not least, one of the creepiest places I will say for this list is gonna be the Masquerade. If you've ever been to the Masquerade here in Atlanta, you probably know the nightclub for where it sits now. But do you know where it originally sat? Do you know what originally happened and what apparently happens all up and through the Masquerade? I'm definitely a fan of old charm and things that are refurbished because there is something beautiful with taking something that is vintage or older and making it new again. There's just I find beauty in that. That is just me personally. Like me, I could get a fixer-upper and turn it into a palace for me. But baby, there is something about this place that just like the Manor house. It seems very creepy. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the little dolls that they've placed throughout the building that they just don't touch. Like literally they've been there for years. You can tell by some of these dolls because they look old and creepy. They look old and decrepit. They look weird. And the fact that they're still hanging there, people see full body apparitions, step into spots and get complete cold chills out of nowhere. I mean, this whole list has just been interesting to do research on because I didn't realize how haunted some of these places are. And it makes complete sense because Atlanta was the harbor for a lot of slave trade, for a lot of Indian executions and things that happened here. I mean, the Trail of Tears obviously went through Atlanta as well. Like, it just baffles me when you really sit back and think about it. This land holds a lot of energy. A lot of these houses, these places, these buildings that were built and refurbished and business moved and another business came in. And depending on how these people operated and moved, a lot of that energy still stands there. Now, the Masquerade know they damn wrong for some of these names that they have for the stages. Why would you name the stage Purgatory and then expect for no creepy shit to happen? The stages are called Hell and Purgatory. You mean to tell me you don't think some spirits is gonna start popping up out of familiarity? Come on now. Be so fucking for real. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I am a haunted hottie, so I am curious about going to the Masquerade. For the simple fact that I want to get a feel for the energy myself, because I've had some people say that they've gone to concerts and raves and different things like that there, and they enjoyed themselves. But I don't know if they would enjoy themselves if they saw things through a perspective like mine. Because I know me, I see through my third eye, whether I want to or not. So energetically, I'm going to pick up on some shit that the average person wouldn't. So I'm curious to go to some of these places. Again, if you are interested in seeing me go to these places and do like a documentary style type of feel for it, definitely let me know down in the comments. But y'all, that was it for today. If there are more places that you guys are wanting me to explore as far as the paranormal, spooky, and interested in me covering, definitely let me know down in the comments and I'll do a part 2 for Georgia. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. And like I said, I believe that it's going to be New Orleans for the next city that we are going to cover, all right? The hoodoo capital, baby. I love New Orleans. There's just something about New Orleans that's so magical to me, not just because I have roots there, but you can't deny the magic that's there, good or bad. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. As I always state in my videos, if you are looking for me, make sure that you are contacting legitimate me on my Etsy page. I cannot stress that enough. There are a plethora of fake and scam accounts out there, especially all up and down TikTok. Do not fall for them. Again, if you did not reach out to me on my Etsy, book a reading with me on my Etsy, you just got scammed by a scammer. Please block, report, and delete in that order. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Make sure you drink your water, mind your business, and stay prayed up and protected. And as always, Luna loves you.